Parshas Vayikra, Tovshinai and Zion, and here we go. We are approximately a week and a half from Pesach, and the last week and a half, or 2 weeks before Pesach, is when we really have to get into a little bit Pesach. But the only thing is that our shir is normally on Parshas HaShavua, and we can't forget that we still have Parshias ahead of us. So what we're going to do is this week, we're going to focus still on Parshas Vayikra. We're starting a new Chumash, a new Seder in the Torah. So we're going to work and we're going to talk about Parshas Vayikra. And hopefully next week, next Thursday, since it will be the last shir before Pesach, we're going to hopefully mix in a lot of Inyonei Pesach into next week's shir. Toward the end of the Parsha, Parshas Vayikra, in this week's Parsha, V'nefesh kisechata v'shama koil ola v'hu eid oira, he was an aid, he was a witness, or he saw, oyoda im lo yagid, if he does not say over what he needs to say over, v'noso avoinoi, that he sort of carries a sin. He has an aveira on his shoulders for not telling. So the Nesivos Shalom points out that it's very interesting, if you read the words in this pasuk, the word im lo yagid, the word loy in the pasuk here is written with a vav and an aleph. Now normally there are two meanings to the word loy. If you write the word loy or lo, depending how you say it, if you write that word with a vav, it means to him. And the word lo with an aleph means no, or not, right? But you never find that in the same word, it is written lamed vav aleph. And that is precisely the way it is written in the pasuk here at the end of Parshas Vayikra. What's going on? Why do we have a word? Why is sort of a mixture of the vav and the aleph, the two different meanings of the word lo? So the Zohar tells us, Zohar brought down here in the Nesivos Shalom, he says that the way to read the pasuk is actually to read the pasuk with a question. And it's an interesting way of reading the pasuk, and none of us would ever really think of reading the pasuk this way, but it's very fascinating the way the Zohar translates this pasuk. We translate the pasuk normally to saying, V'nefesh kisechata. If there is a person, and we refer to the person as nefesh over here for various reasons, v'nefesh kisechata. If it happens that a person does an aveira, says the Zohar, the way we want to read this pasuk is v'nefesh kisechata. Is it possible for the nefesh of a person? Is it possible for the neshama of a Jew that has so much kedusha on it to actually sin? To actually do an aveira, the nefesh kisechata, and the shama koil ola, and he should sin after he heard, so to speak, after he promised, after he heard the shavua. And what is the shavua? The shavua is, says the Zohar, interesting point, and it's a nice thing for everybody to know, that right before a person is born, before they send him from, so to speak, the upper world down to be on this world, we have a shavua, we have an Allah, as the pasuk talks about it, and that is that they tell us, I'm sending you down to the world, but with an instruction, and that instruction is Tehi tzaddik va'al tehi rasha. Go down to the world, do your work, but I need you to be a tzaddik and not to be a rasha. And you know what? We all agree to that. We don't remember it today that this is what happened right before we were born, but that is it. So the pasuk is reading, V'nefesh kisechata. Can a person actually do an aveira, B'shama koil ola, and it's after he heard this shavua, after he promised that he would be good? And the answer to this question, says in the Nesivos Shalom, is the next words of the pasuk. And you know what those words are? These are the words that we began the shir with. Im lo yagid v'noso avoinoi. That if we explain it with a maimar, and really, how do we explain it with these words? Lo yagid v'nosa avoinai. There's a Baal Shem Tov, Zechus Yogan Aleinu, that we have said over a number of times, and with this Baal Shem Tov, we're going to explain how we understand the answer of the pasuk. Chazal tell us that b'chol yoim, every single day, bas kol yotzei mehar chayrev. A bas kol speaks out and goes forth from har chayrev. And the bas kol says every day, Oy lanu me'arbanu shel Torah, and the bas kol is saying how we lament the fact that the Torah is not being kept the way it should. And it's every day, every single day, a bas kol comes out and says this. Now the question, the Baal Shem Tov brings the question that is very obvious, and it's a question that everybody asks. Very nice. We hear that there's a bas kol that comes out from Har Sinai. But why is it coming out? We don't hear it. We don't hear that bas kol. So why is it every day that why would it make a difference to us that a bas kol comes out of Har Chayrev, Har Sinai every day and laments the fact that we're not keeping the Torah if we do not hear that bas kol anyway? So says the Baal Shem Tov, a very beautiful yesod. And he says, when a person wakes up one day and the person feels that you have this feeling that you want to do tshuva, that you want to be better than you were yesterday. You know where this stems from? This feeling that some days we wake up with, and some days we just have, we have an urge to do tshuva, to be better. That feeling that you're getting is coming from the bas kol, where it may not be audible, where your ears are hearing it, but your neshama hears it, and your heart hears it. And that bas kol, says the Baal Shem Tov, is what goes inside you, and you get this feeling that you want to be better, and you want to do tshuva. But the catch is, says the Nesivos Shalom, that the smart person, a person who is a chacham, you grab hold of this strong feeling, you grab hold of this inspiration, and you do something with it. You do something concrete, you add something good to your life, and you let it enter your heart and your mind. You have this feeling, you have this hargasha, so go ahead and put it to use, do something with it. But a person who is foolish, you know what you do? You always excuse away, it was just a momentary, fleeting feeling, and you always have an answer why you can't do anything with this feeling right now. It's not for now, it's for tomorrow, it's for next week, it's for next year, and you squander the opportunity, and you let it go, and you let it go, and you let it go by. And then that time is lost. That feeling of inspiration is lost. And says the Nesivos Shalom, that is the word loy in our pasuk. We said, v'nefesh kisechata. How can a person do an avera b'shoma koil ola? And you promised that you're going to be a tzaddik and not a rasha. You promised before you were born. So we said, in lo yagid v'nosa avoinoi. The pasuk is telling us that if you are not listening to those feelings of tshuva, if you take that pasuk and you make it instead of loy, that it's speaking to you, that the bas kol is speaking directly to you, and it's time for you to listen and change your life. Im lo yagid, if you use it along with the aleph, and you say, no, it's not speaking to me, then v'nasa avoinai. If it doesn't move you, and it doesn't inspire you, and you change the loy, which means to him, to you change it to an aleph, and that's a no, where no, not now, maybe some other time, and again you kick the can down the road, and you say, no, not this time, it's not for you, it's not a message to you, then v'nasa avoinoi. You're explaining events away. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sets up the life of a person, that things are constantly happening to people. And nothing is by coincidence. And everything that happens in a person's life is a message to you. You just have to be conscious. You have to not be asleep at the wheel. You have to be willing to listen and ready and able to change things in your life. But if you change the loy, no, it's not talking to me, to an aleph, then v'nosa avoinoi. Then the sin, that avera, is really, really compounded each time. And Hashem sends you inspiration, and He sends you strength, but you're choosing not to use it. That is v'nosa avoinoi. That could be a very great sin. And you know, says in Nesivos Shalom, that's why we find this lashon in the pasuk by a korban oila v'yored. Why is it specifically written by a korban oila v'yored? You know why? Because a person has a chance to be either oila or yored. If you listen, then you're an oila. You're a person who's growing. You're a person who's not perfect and doesn't do everything always right, but you're willing to listen. And a person who's willing to listen is a person who's ready to grow. You're an oila. But if you don't listen and everything is happening to you by coincidence and you don't see God in all the things that are going on in your life, then you could become a yored. Either you use the opportunities that Hashem gives you or you squander those opportunities. And this idea of feeling inspiration of the Baskol of Har Sinai, it also applies to every person that we accept before we're born to he tzaddik v'al tehi rasha. We accepted it. We don't remember it. So the question is the same one that we have by the Baskol. Very nice that they made us promise tehi tzaddik v'al tehi rasha. But does anybody here remember what happened before they were born? I would venture to say not. But you know what? But when you get these feelings, when you get these feelings of inspiration, that is when you remember. That is when you have this internal subconscious which pulls you closer to doing the right thing, and it reminds you, tehi tzaddik, v'al tehi rasha. You know, Nesivos Shalom says when a king sends a prince overseas, or he sends him away as a diplomat or something like that, he provides him with all the knowledge and all the ammunition and everything he needs to know about the foreign country, everything that he needs to protect himself. Says in Nesivos Shalom, it's the same when we come down to this world. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends us, His children, to this world, and this world that is full of temptations and is full of taivas, Hashem provides us also with all the knowledge and all the ammunition. Hashem doesn't want anything from us that we can't do. If you have a challenge, if you're faced with something that's a little bit more difficult, it's because Hashem knows that you can handle it and that you're going to grow from it. And we need to be in touch with that feeling of imloi yagid v'nosa avoinoi. The loy with the vav and the aleph. If you turn it into loy and you say, no, the messages from Hashem are not speaking to me, then v'nosa avoinoi. But if you take out the aleph and you say in loy, you have a choice in this pasuk. If you put in the vav and you say, oh, let's do something with this inspiration, then Hashem is talking to you. Then we succeed. Then we're able to grow. But if we don't go, if we do not do anything, we are guilty of a very, very severe sin, because we're living in a dream world. We're living in a world, a fantasy world, where we're not looking at what Hashem sends our way. And these inspirations, says Nesivos Shalom, come every day to a person, but especially on Shabbos, and especially on Yom Tov. We have to be in tune, just like we get those feelings from Har Chayre, and we get those feelings that surround us every day, every Shabbos, every Yom Tov, especially before Pesach, where Chazal tell us, Shoyalin v'dorshin v'hilchas Pesach. 30 days before Pesach, we have to start talking about Hilchos Pesach. But it's not only Hilchos Pesach, says in Nesivos Shalom. It's halichos. It's the way of life. It's the things we can gain from Pesach. It's the thing that we have to think about beforehand. How are we going to gain from this Pesach? And let's start thinking about that now. Because in lo yagid, if we make believe it's not us, and we say, oh, maybe next year, maybe some other time, then v'nosa avoinoi. Then we're really, really guilty of not using the opportunity that Hashem is sending us to grow.